Will Jerome Powell KO the stock market rally? Will Omicron KO the stock market rally? Or will the big miners help to avoid the KOing of the stock market rally? I'm Peter Switzer.
I'm Paul Rickard.
And we're mad about money. Well, Paul, Jerome Powell gets a job for another 4 years, and he turns out to be a hawk. A big hawk.
Well, I'm not sure he's a big hawk, Peter, but I think what he's saying is pretty sensible. If they need to taper more aggressively than they have, it's probably good in the long term for both the bond market and also more particularly for the equity market too. So look, hawkish maybe.
The timing good?
Yeah, well, look, he also said that the other day that if he needs to, he'll have to take account of Omicron, but look, the market went down as a result of it. I think what we've seen with these when these things come out, Peter, is it's never all over in the first movement up, and we always get the correction the second day, and usually the third day goes back the same way. So it's following a pretty predictable behaviour. I just think this might be a little bit overblown, but I think what's really scaring the market more than Jerome Powell per se is perhaps the suggestion that the vaccines won't be effective, and no one knows what that is just yet.
Okay, so you've jumped to the second topic. That's all right.
We'll go back to Jerome Powell because you should explain for our readers, listeners, exactly what he said and why it's important what listen to Jerome Powell following his reappointment.
Yeah, so he gets reappointed. He indicates that tapering could come up faster than we expected and earlier than expected. And I think a lot of people will thought when the Omicron problem came along, well, the Fed will probably delay their taper and just to make sure there's not a negative issue. And that's the important point. We are blending both stories together, but they need to be blended together because if Omicron's a big problem, he's not going to taper really quickly or he'll delay it. So in many ways, I reckon he should have kept his big mouth shut.
I think his confirmation here is not till next Tuesday, so maybe he's just making sure that there's no noise between now and next Tuesday. But anyhow, maybe look, it's the trouble with having central bank governors fronting, judiciary committees and whatever they're up for, and they like to talk, Pete.
Yeah, exactly right. And then we got 4 years in your job left before you. You can say whatever you like. Before then, he was very cagey, wasn't he? Anyway, let's go to Omicron. Another big mouth. Who's this idiot CEO of Moderna coming out saying, maybe we need to have new vaccines because the current ones might not be good enough? Was this a good idea to say that?
My sense is he might be talking his book a little bit, Pete. That means a whole lot more money to research, but potentially a whole lot more vaccines for everybody. And we'll need not just a booster, but we'll need all new doses. So who knows what he's saying, but...
he should be arrested, I reckon, for manipulating the market. Because the interesting thing I found was, when I first heard it, I thought, gee, this is really going to be good for his share price. But his share price fell 3% last night. However, in the days before, it spiked like nobody's business because of what you just implied, that if the current vaccines aren't good enough, Moderna and Pfizer and all them will have to improve on what they've got, which will mean more sales to them. Up goes the share price.
Yeah. Look, let's wait and see how it plays out, Peter. I think that we'll just have to be, market's going to be a bit jittery, but look, the data's not there yet. It's going to be, everyone says it's going to be a couple of weeks before you really know the impact of Omicron. So let's not get too carried away. My gut feel is that the US will probably turn around again the next night, but that's just a 10,000 miles view of saying that you get bad news one night and everyone says takes a deep breath the next day.
Yeah, but I'm hanging on to the news from the South African scientists because South African scientists are very reliable and they basically say it's more transmissible but less dangerous. Yeah. I want to stick with that and run with that, and I hope the research from the drug companies that make these drugs come up with the same conclusion. I don't think they will, but I hope they do. Let's go to the final one, Paul, and that is the big miners, BSP, Fortescue, and Rio have been doing pretty well lately after being caned for a month or so.
They have been doing pretty well, Peter, and I think what people are starting to realise is that maybe that we're getting a bit of a bottoming in the iron ore price. Very interesting news out of Vale the other day, which it said it actually lowered its production guidance for this financial year. and also lowered its production guidance for next year. So
Sure.
remember, part of the whole iron ore story, why it got to $220 is because of the problems that Vale has had in Brazil, not just with COVID, but with a whole lot of issues to do with dam collapses and other things.
Yeah.
And Vale is the biggest miner. Our miners are not the biggest, right?
Don't tell people that. That
Well,
really disturbs them.
and so what Vale is happening is Vale is really important to the iron ore price. Well, its production has been slammed this year. And that was obviously seen as the spike was seen as part of the response to that. Well, now that Vale's not being able to get production back up to where it needs to be, that's giving the market a bit more hope. And also we know that China, slowed it down for the Olympics and whatever other reasons to teach everyone a lesson.
Yeah.
Maybe
To
punish us. Maybe it's just a matter of they can't do it forever. But they were very successful. The price fell 60%. Fibonacci number 62%. Some of the charters will really understand what I'm just saying there.
Yeah.
And it seems to bounce off around about that $90 mark. So it's interesting, our miners are going up, and that's one of the reasons our market hasn't been doing as badly in this whole Omicron sort of type environment. So just watch those. I think if you get a bit of a sell-off, there might be some good buying opportunities in the BHPs, Fortescues and Rios.
You used to believe that if Vale came back to normal, China would probably favour them at the expense of our guys as well. But because Vale is probably even benefiting from the fact less production, but a higher price. So their revenue is probably not all that bad, because if they increase the supply and the price drops, it may not be as good as what they might.
But it is, I mean, that's all true, Pete, but it is fundamentally production issues still. So that's a positive for our miners, and I just think there's some good opportunities. So if you look at any stocks that have done reasonably well over the last month, one area that's done better than most is actually in that sort of hard material sector. That's, I guess, after what we saw in, September and October, that's not a surprise. So, market gets a bit of panicky, could be some good buying in those stocks.
Yeah, well, I'm very happy about it because I courageously tipped that the iron ore miners were at very low prices and could rise and got it right.
You did. You got it very right.
Fortune. I'm Peter Switzer.
I'm Paul Rickard.
And we're mad about money.